Hey, how about it, race fans? Richard Allen of InsideDirtRacing.com and InsideCircleTrack.com, and I'm coming at you with another Rich's Ramblings today. And normally these things are about dirt racing, but I'm going to stray off that path a little bit toward NASCAR today. But before I do, I got to hand it to the promoters of the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series and the Farmer City Raceway from this past weekend. On Friday night, they had some rain that they got all the way up through running 1B main, ready to start the 2B main when the rain came, and they had to call things off. But instead of just canceling the event altogether, instead they came back and ran it on Monday. You know, that Lucas Oil Series ran for the first time at Fairbury Speedway on Saturday night. The series and the track, Farmer City, opted not to run on Sunday, but which from what I understand was a good decision anyway, because I think it rained. But on Monday they came back and ran again. So kudos to them for sticking it out and actually holding the race, rather than, you know, there's so many promoters and so many racing series that would have just called it off and just been done with it. Instead, they persevered and they kept it going. We're in kind of a little bit of a strange time here. There's going to be racing all throughout the week. As a matter of fact, there was a lot of racing last week, too, with the Flow Racing Night in America series, the Castrol Flow Racing Night in America series. And, of course, not at this current time, but from time to time you have XR Super Series mixing in with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series and the World of Outlaws Case Construction Late Model Series as well. But here it's a Tuesday night when I'm filming this, and there are like 3 or 4 races that are going to be going on tonight. You've got the Castrol Flow Racing Night in America series up in Iowa, which was part of the reason why Lucas and Farmer City were able to do what they did by running on Monday, because many of those guys are just going to go up and race in Iowa tonight over the next couple of nights, and then there are more races. Lucas has more races set for up in that part of the country as well for the weekend. So that made it easy for them to make that decision. But still, nonetheless, kudos to them for doing it. But still, what a time to be alive. We've got 3 races set for a Tuesday night. This is not a Saturday. You've got the Flow Racing Night in America. There's a high limit sprint car series race also tonight. Both of those are going to be covered by Flow Racing. And then, of course, you got all the stuff going on at the revived North Wilkesboro Speedway coming up later on tonight, too. So kind of a crazy thing here on a Tuesday. You got that much racing going on. So like I said, what a time to be alive. So that's great. But enough on that. Now, I've said that this is not primarily a dirt racing little discussion here I'm having, but switching over to NASCAR. My sons and I went this past Sunday to the Darlington Raceway for the Goodyear 400 NASCAR Cup Series race. You know, had a great time down there doing that. I always, you know, love hanging out with the boys and doing that sort of thing, like I guess any dad in America likes doing that sort of thing. But, of course, you had the controversy there toward the end between Ross Chastain and Kyle Larson getting mixed up on the one of the late restarts there and crashing, taking each other out of the race, essentially. So what I was going to talk about is I noticed on social media and even on television broadcasts and whatever, you see these comparisons between Ross Chastain and Dale Earnhardt Sr. And just because Ross Chastain is an aggressive driver and, you know, sometimes, you know, not shy about getting himself involved in controversy, that doesn't make him Dale Earnhardt. And I say that, you know, I was there when Dale Earnhardt won his first race at Bristol Motor Speedway. And, you know, as a matter of fact, kind of strange, I looked on his statistics one year. I actually saw him win the first 4 Cup races that he ever won. So that was pretty cool, but still, you know, he is known for an aggressive nature and everything. But like I said, just because Ross Chastain drives aggressively doesn't make him Dale Earnhardt. Now there is a couple of comparisons where you can put them together. Dale Earnhardt won his first race when he was 28 years old. Won his first championship when he was 29. Ross Chastain just right now is 29. So he won his first race at basically the same age that Dale Earnhardt did. Then last year came extremely close to winning the championship. He came in second behind Joey Logano there at Phoenix in the finale. But still, here's what I'm getting at when I say he's not Dale Earnhardt. Dale Earnhardt, when he did the stuff that he did, and I was not a Dale Earnhardt fan, by the way, so I'm not some sort of Earnhardt apologist. When he did the stuff that he did, it was all calculated. He knew exactly what he was doing. Sometimes it went a little further, I think, than he may have intended. Like when he rattled Terry Labonte's cage a couple of times up at Bristol Motor Speedway. I don't think he actually meant to wreck him. I think he's just going to try and move him up out of the groove like we see so often at Bristol, and I think it just went a little further than he anticipated. But when you go back and look at the incidents Earnhardt was involved in, they were always, at the right time. They were well timed, they were thought out, and that they were planned deals. He was everything he did was calculated. With Chastain, a lot of stuff he's involved in is just mistakes. He just runs into people by mistake, and he will even say so. As I didn't mean to do that. I don't think you would have ever heard Earnhardt say, "I didn't mean to do that," because he wanted that image to be out there that he meant to, whether he did or not. But Chastain is not a calculator. He's just mistake prone, I think. Now, but that said, I'm going to say this about Chastain, and I'm not a Chastain hater by any means. He has brought some life to NASCAR that NASCAR has been needing for quite a while. And I did notice too on Sunday during driver introductions, I thought there might be a lot of boos when he got announced, and there were some, but there was an awful lot of cheers too. So in that sense, maybe he's kind of a little bit like Earnhardt, kind of that bad guy image that Earnhardt loved to foster. Maybe Chastain's like that too, but unlike Earnhardt, he doesn't calculate what he's doing. I mean, some of his stuff that he gets involved in comes like the thing at Dover when he ran into Brennan Poole and then wound up taking Kyle Larson out as a result. I mean, that was during the first stage. It was, nobody would have planned, hey, I'm going to run over this lap car during the first stage of the race and run the risk of taking myself out over that. Earnhardt would have never done that unless just some mistake or something. But Chastain seems to make a lot of those. Last year at St. Louis, I think it was St. Louis, where he got into Chase Elliott, turned him around. The stuff he's done with Denny Hamlin, a lot of stuff times comes at just ill-advised times where mid-race and things like that, where you'd never go out if you're going to bump somebody out of the way, make it 3 laps to go. Don't make it in the middle of a race or something. Whereas Earnhardt, if you look back on all this stuff, so much of it was at the right time in the right place. And then another way that he's not like Earnhardt, a rookie or second-year driver like Noah Gragson would have never come up at the end of a race and confronted Earnhardt over anything. Whereas Noah Gragson didn't have that hesitation about him. He just went right up to Chastain there after the race where they had trouble. I guess it was about their second issue that they'd had before. So he went up and challenged him right there. No young driver would have ever, heck, for that matter, not very many of the veteran drivers would have gone up and challenged Earnhardt like that in such an open setting. So I think it's a little ill-advised to make a comparison between Ross Chastain and Dale Earnhardt just because both of them happen to be aggressive drivers. There's a difference between being calculated aggressive and just reckless aggressive, and sometimes I think Chastain falls into that category of just being reckless aggressive, whereas Earnhardt tended to be more calculated aggressive. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Thank you for checking in on InsideDirtRacing.com like you do, and also Inside Circle Track, where we cover some NASCAR-related stuff. So I appreciate you checking both of those out. But for now, this is Richard Allen, and I will see you at the track.